Strong.
So, anyways, today we are on our which meeting is this? Meeting number 6, like 5 technically with me, because your first meeting was the test. But here we are. Let me get the PowerPoint real quick. Yeah, this one. Okay. So today we're going to continue our speaking section. Now, so last time on Monday we did talk about speaking section, right? And that was the first part. I did talk about the second part. Do you remember what was the second part of the speaking section? How we have to do the second part of the speaking section? Anybody remember? No? All right. Time for a refresh. Time to refresh your brain. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you want to start?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up.
Yes.
Can you start speaking now, please?
Okay.
All right. How long should you speak for?
1 and 2 minutes.
1 to 2 minutes. Yeah, 1 to 2 minutes. Number 2, how long will you have to make notes?
1 minute to brainstorm.
1 minute. Oh my God, this is so hard. You know what? I'm going to use things. Will you need to bring a paper and pen? Do you have to bring a paper and pen?
Nope.
No, you don't have to because they are provided. Can you write on the booklet?
No,
Not yet.
No.
not yet.
Well, actually, the answer is no, not yet. Because if you cannot write on the booklet, where should you write?
The examiner will stop us.
No. I mean, if you cannot write on the booklet, then where should you write your notes? Where
in
should you
our
write?
paper.
In a paper, yeah.
That
So yeah, so they will provide you with an empty piece of paper as well. And how will you know when to stop talking? Number 5,
the examiner will stop us, or they will remind us.
Examiner will stop. Yeah, correct. Examiner will stop you. So if you speak for longer than 2 minutes, you'll be thank you. That's enough. Yeah. If you speak less than 2 minutes, they will ask you to speak more. Okay. All right. Now let's take a look at the booklet. So yesterday I showed you the booklet. Do you still remember what was in the booklet? What's the name for the booklet? The thingies. The booklet. What do you remember was in the booklet? The question sheet. What was in the question sheet? Do you remember? Anybody remember what was in the paper? No? Right. So there are several instructions on the booklet. Yeah, 4 to 5 instructions. Now it is important to address each one of them. So there is one main topic and then 4 additional instructions telling you what to do. Yeah? Such as choosing a person, place, time, thing, and explain. And then you also have to explain why you choose them. Yeah? So for example, choose a person that you look up to, and then later on describe, and then explain why. Explain what influence this person has on your life. Something like that. Yeah. Check out this example. Okay. So this is the task that Emmanuel was given. Okay. Describe a time when you help someone. Now you should say who you helped and why, how you helped this person, and what the result was, and then explain how you felt about helping this person. Now, as a practice, everybody, I want you to grab a piece of paper or just use your laptop or computer. If it's you don't exactly have to use a piece of paper, but if you prefer writing, then prepare something to write on and something to write with. Computer, laptop, a phone, paper and pencil. It's up to you, whatever you want. And then I will give you 1 minute to think about what you're gonna say. Okay. You have, let's see. Let me grab my time. All right, everybody, you have 1 minute. Think about, try to answer these questions. Yeah, the questions here. Okay, your 1 minute starts now. Time's up. You heard that. Time's up. Okay. Let's see. Everybody done? Okay. Now, let's see. I want you guys to try to answer the question in your own way. Okay. So you don't have to answer this perfectly. But yeah, describe a time when you help someone. I'm gonna get a randomizer. Let's see, random name picker. Random name picker. We have Jika, Ika, and okay. So first time to describe a time when you help someone is based on the wheel. It's Dika. Dika, can you describe a time when you help someone? Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna grab a stopwatch. All right, you may start speaking when you're ready.
Okay. May I start?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to talk about the person that I ever helped. Yeah, it was friend of mine, Safir. Safir is the one of the oldest friends that I have. Well, I help him. It's because he's one of the victim of the disaster in my province 4 years ago. Safir was hit by tsunami in the near of his house. Entire one of the affected area in tsunami in Palu. So the way that I help him, I give him some money, and I try to ask for my friend to give him one of the several let's say clothes, and then also friend of mine give him the motorcycle as a consequence of he lose all of the transportation while tsunami hit his house. So what was the result? Yeah, he's extremely happy at the time because yeah, it quite reduced his stressful or traumatic in terms of the accident, because you know that he lost both of his parents at the moment. So it means he's quite stressful because yeah, actually the way that
Okay, and I'm gonna stop you there. Okay, because that was already 2 minutes. Okay, that was very good, Dick, actually. Okay, quick feedback. Yeah, that was great. The pacing was good. The ideas was expanded very well. However, we today are going to take a look into how to organize ideas better in order to improve what you're gonna say and how you collect the information ideas. Sorry, how you collect information and how you organize the ideas together. But yeah, overall that was very good. Well done. It's actually quite rare for someone to be able to get up to 2 minutes. A lot of people get short of 2 minutes. So yeah, that was good. I'm gonna pick one more person. Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna need Gustomo, perhaps. Describe a time when you helped someone. Okay. Oh, give me a second. I'm gonna get my. Okay. You may start speaking when you're ready. Okay, and I'm going to stop you there. Okay, thank you. That was good. That was very well. Um, ideas were expanded very well. You talked for quite a lot of quite a long time. You were able to answer all of the questions, perhaps except for the last one, because you ran out of time. But yeah, there were a few redundant information as well, because which I think may be removed to increase the efficiency of your time. Other than that, grammatical errors. You said she told me blah 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 blah, and then because she told me that her parents was cut off. You don't need to repeat the word she told me, just because her parents were cut off, something like that. Yeah, and we try to avoid a direct quote. So like you said, so I told my colleagues, hey, why don't we help her? So direct quotes like that, we should try to avoid. It's not that we cannot use them, but we should try to avoid using them. So instead of that, you can change it into a passive sentence. Not a passive sentence. You change it into an indirect quote. Something such as this. And then I told my friends that we should help her, something like that, instead of directly quoting what you said that in that instance. Yeah. But yeah, well, now let's take a look at some examples of how to answer. Okay. All right. Check out this video.
The moment I remember I helped somebody was a friend of mine. He was a friend of mine. He's completely in love with a girl that is now his girlfriend, and I helped him to conquer his girlfriend. Because he's a very shy person and introverted. Is not very self-confident at all, absolutely. And so I gave him some advice to try to conquer her, let's say. And I told him to take her out for a dinner. It's a very simple thing, but sometimes it's difficult for some people to understand it. And the result was that she was expecting him to ask her to go out. And so they had a beautiful evening together, and they are now a couple, let's say. And I felt really useful in this moment and helpful. I'm happy to have the chance to help a friend of mine, because on the other hand, he helped me in many stages and many moments of my life. And then thanks to this moment, now we are very, very good friends. And I think that's all.
Okay. That was it. Now this guy answered in around 1:38. Well, except for the pause at the end. Well, we can say he spoke for around 1:30. Now, usually if you speak for 1:30, the examiner will ask you to speak more. Like, what else can you tell me? Can you tell me more? Is there anything else? Something else? Just check. Concur. Well, what are you trying to say with that word, Ika?
From the conversation, conquer the girl.
Conquer.
How spell it?
It's this word.
Oh,
It's conquer. Okay.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Also, good evening, Misra and Dia. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah. By the way, the meaning of conquer in that sentence means to take over. What's another word for it? To take over or to take control, to overcome something. Yeah. Basically, you are able to finish. You are able to defeat something that's in your way. Yeah? If there's a problem, you conquer the problem. Okay, so that was how the answer. So again, if you speak for if you speak for 1:30, they will ask you to speak more. It's not bad, but they just want you to speak more until the time limit of 2 minutes. Usually, if you speak for approximately 1:45 until 50, they will not ask you to speak more. A lot of people tells you to speak for 2 minutes. However, it is very hard. It is very hard for us to know exactly that we have spent 2 minutes in speaking. It's very hard to get exactly 2 minutes. So some people tend to get around 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Some people get around 1:50. My recommendation is not to go for the 2-minute mark, except if you really have finished everything you have mentioned. Yeah. So except if you have answered this, and this, you may try to go for the 2 minutes. Yeah. But if you haven't finished all of them, try not to go for the 2 minutes, because you might have no time to finish all your answers. If you get cut off before you finish explaining everything, then that's not a good That's not good. Yeah. Let me show you another example. Here's an example of this girl, Saida.
I remember that I helped my grandmother, and my mother asked me to go to her home and help for 2 or 3 weeks. So I went there, and actually my grandmother was ill, so I had to do some cookings for her and some housekeeping works. In the evening I read books for her. Then after 2 weeks she became healthy, and she forgot about that days when she was ill. So now I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I did it, and my mother also very great that I helped my grandmother.
Can you tell me any more about that?
Yeah, and she always says me that I am best girl in the world, and she says that she proud of me, and she always remember me all her life, and
Thank you.
Okay, what did you get based on this video? What can you get from this video? Anything?
Saida helps her grandma
Okay.
when her grandma was ill.
Okay. So yeah, those two are correct answer. Saida talked about her mother, and then yes, the time. What's wrong about the time? What's wrong with the time? Okay. Yes, you're correct. So yes, she didn't speak for long enough. So the examiner asked her to speak more. Let's see how long she spoke for. So see, it's 1 minute 20. So this is where she stopped speaking.
I helped my grandmother.
A minute 15 seconds. And then
Can you tell me any more about that?
minute 25, the examiner tells her to ask her to speak more. Yeah. And then she extended her her speaking, her answer. Yeah. What else? Does anybody get anything else? No? Okay. So a few more things to note is the grammar. Listen to this.
Yeah, and she always says me.
She always says me. This is the wrong grammar. So instead you should say she always told me. She always told me, or she always tells me. Yeah, not says me. Says is the wrong verb to use here. Oh, and also an endless extension using the word end. Listen to how many times she uses end.
That I am best girl in the world, and she says that she proud of me, and she.
So that was a lot of and. So it's basically one sentence and endlessly adding and she's this, and she's that, and she's this, and she's this, and she's that. It's not good. It's not good to extend your ideas endlessly using and. That's why yesterday I told you to be careful using the extension, using the word and, Be very careful extending your answers using and. If you want, you have to group your answers together. Yeah. For example, you can say something like, yeah, she's always very nice. As a lot of the time, praises are often given by her, such as telling me that I'm beautiful, gives me support, motivation, and a lot of other things as well. So something like that, yeah. Instead of endlessly at the end. Or if you really have to use the word and, you may think of another word, such as additionally, she also, sometimes another thing that she likes to do, something like that, yeah. So use a bunch of different conjunctions, yeah. Use a bunch of different conjunctions. Okay. Right. Okay. So that was done. Now, here's the thing. If you run out of ideas quickly after 1 minute, so let's say after 1 minute you are like, okay, I have. So okay, after 1 minute, you have answered this, you have answered this, you have answered this, and you have answered this, and you're like, oh no, what else should I do? What else should I say? I have said everything. I have already said everything. What can I do? Well, you can take a look back in your notes. Check out which one you can extend more. Perhaps you can extend more on this one. Maybe you can give a short background information about who is this person, like what Dika did. So Dika did say, this friend that I was going to, I helped was this friend, and he's a person who was a victim of the disaster 4 years ago. So a quick short background information like that can extend this information. How you help this person, give extra information. Who else helped this person? Maybe you and your friends, maybe your family as well, maybe some other people who we don't know as well. Yeah? And so on. Right, take a look back at the questions and your notes, yeah, and then see what you can expand anymore. However, we should try not to speak for too long, as evident here. Oh yeah, one more thing.
I remember.
For extension, don't forget to check, did you miss anything? Yeah, did anything you miss? Make sure you answer all of them. And then this one extension that I mentioned, and then keep talking while you think. Don't stop talking. That is not, stopping to talk is not a good idea. Yeah? So always keep talking.
Mr. Chris,
Yes.
excuse me. Can we, for example, for the previous slide, in the previous slide, we have to describe. We have to answer each of the question.
Yes.
For example, we cannot tell anything anymore. Can we tell about or describe about another cases? For example, we tell example 1 for now, but if we cannot, if we have no idea anymore, we describe example 2.
Oh, so you want to talk, like, for example, describe a time. You want to tell them about 2 times.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never encountered that before, but it actually, if you want to talk about 2 examples, that would take a lot of time to think about the informations again. So that is not really recommended. However, I have not seen a case like that, but I personally think that it would take too much time for you to think about the information for the second case, so that's not really recommended. Yeah. What is recommended, however, is adding extra information that is not requested. You see here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 things that you need to describe, right? However, you are not limited to only 4 of this. You may talk about something else as well, as long as it is relevant to a time you helped someone. For example, who you helped and why, how you helped this person, what the result was. You can also talk about the time. When was it? What was the occasion? What did you give to help? What did you do to help? How many people? Let's say instead of someone, you help a lot of people. How many people you help? Maybe a group of person, and so on. So you may talk about things that are not requested as well, as long as it is still relevant to the question. Okay. In this case, a time when you help someone. Okay. Now let's check out some other examples of answers. Yeah. Like this girl. Video is not playing. Let me retry. Okay.
Who is my best friend in Ankara. I helped her actually last year because she was very sick and ill and she has nobody at home to help her. And she called me and she asked me if I can help her. So I went to her home and she was very ill. She got a high temperature and she's shaking. And she was shaking and I gave medication to her, but she threw it up and it was so horrible and I was very worried about her, so I picked up her to the hospital. That was the last thing that I can do for her, and we got to the emergency and they gave some medication via her veins, so it went well. And her temperature went down or decreased a little, and we waited or stayed at hospital that night, and I prepared and I bought food for her, soup for her, and she was quite I was very worried about her, and I thought that he was poisoned instead of flu because she started to throw up. But doctors said that there was no worry, that you don't need to be worried about that. This medication will help her.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, what did you get from that video? What did you get from that video? What happened in that video? What happened in that example? Any idea what happened in that video?
For me, I personally think that for the last item, she didn't answer yet.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. So in this video example, she spoke for too long, and because she spoke for too long, she did not manage to answer these 2 questions. Yeah, these two criteria were not answered by her because she answered this first and the second one for too long. Well, she added a lot of details. However, it would seem that those extra ideas were too long. What else? What else was noticeable from the video? Huh? Yeah. There were a few things that was noticeable from the video, but one of the most important thing that you should notice from the video is how many times she used the word so and end. Again, endlessly using end and so. So I bring her to the hospital. So I bring her to the hospital, and so. Yeah, there was a lot of so and ends, which is not good. Okay. Now let's take a look at a better example. This time we'll take a look at a good example. Not the best, but this is a pretty good example. You will have a pretty good idea of how to answer with this example.
You asked me to describe a time when I helped someone. To that aim, I've chosen to talk about Aniceto. Last summer, I went to the United States in Miami to visit my uncle because he's been living there for 10 years, and he married an American woman. And so I went to visit him just as a tourist, but then I decided to take English lessons to improve my English. And I met a Venezuelan boy, and he couldn't speak English at all. So I wanted to help him practicing his English. And he has also a problem. It's that he's dyslexic. So it was very, very difficult for him. I'm not very good in English, but I could help him a little. So we were practicing our English together and just speaking, writing, and listening to music and movies, watching movies too. And so that's it. That's how I helped him with just practicing our English. Why I wanted to do that? Just like that, because he was very friendly and I could practice my English too, so it wasn't just for him, it was also a little for me. How I helped this person? Just practicing every day, and sometimes we met in shopping centers and we had a very good time together. What was the result? He said me recently that some people say that now he has a French accent, so maybe it wasn't a good thing, but I think he improved a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so what did you get from that video?
I think that she's straight to the point. She's also clearly mentioned that the point that she described before. Hence, that she also what is it? Explain so clear. I mean the option of she used translation words. Sometimes she tried to avoid redundancy, like so and like this one.
Okay. Yes, that was absolutely correct. That was she used the question to her. She used the questions in order to guide her answer. So that was pretty good. That was a pretty smart way to do it. And yes, repetition was no. She did not repeat many words. There were a few, but it was not much. And a good use of conjunctions as well. And overall, this answer would be around as low as 6.5. Yeah, the lowest it'll be 6.5, but this one can go as high as around 8 or 7.5, around that. Yeah, it can go as high as that. Because again, scoring is subjective. So speaking is subjective. So not everybody can give the same score. But yeah, this is generally how you can answer them. Now, a few things that I want to tell you about this answer is, while it is useful to help you, it's useful to help you by restating the question again, by saying, who I help. It was a boy in Venezuela. How I helped this person. It was by practicing. And what was the result? The result was, some people said that, blah, blah, blah. Well, this is a good idea. If you need to, you can do this. Yeah, it's a good idea and it can help you organize your ideas. However, if you are trying to achieve a good score, a high score, you should try to rephrase the sentence. Oops. Rephrasing the sentence means to change the structure of the sentence, which is not something she does. Yeah. So rephrasing the sentence, for example, like this: who helped you and why? Instead of saying who helped you and why, we can say something like this. I remember the person that I helped. I remember the person that I helped was a boy in Venezuela, and the reason why I helped, and the reason I helped this boy is because blah blah blah. I helped this boy by blah 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 blah. And I think because of what I did back then, this boy now has a. Some people said that this boy has a French accent. Yeah? So rephrase the sentence. State the sentence again, but in a different way. Which comes to my first question. How does Melanie begin her talk? How does Melanie begin her talk? Do you know the answer? The answer is actually in this one. How does Melanie begin her talk? Here. Try to fill out those empty spaces.
You asked me to describe a time when I helped someone. To that aim, I've chosen to talk about Aniceto.
You
asked me.
You asked me.
You asked me. Oops, too big. Maybe less big. You asked me a time when I. Sorry, you asked me what? There's something else. You asked me. You asked me what?
About.
You asked me to describe a time when I helped someone.
You asked
To describe.
me to describe. To describe. What is wrong with my typing? To describe a time when I
help him or help
Someone.
to pick
someone.
I helped someone.
Help someone.
To that aim,
Or
I've chosen
in
to
her
talk
case, she
about
said help with
Aniceto.
someone.
Help someone. To that aim, I've chosen to talk about Aniceto.
To that aim. What?
Tell about.
Blah blah blah. Tell about. What's before that?
I choose.
You said I've chosen to tell about Aniceto. Okay. Now the question is, how does she begin her talk? She begins her talk by.
She restart the question.
Correct. She restated the question. Or in another way, she repeated the question. Okay. Okay, one more question. What did she talk about that was not asked about? So what did she say? What information did she give that was not one of these four? What information did she give that was not one of those four? Do you remember? It was actually at the early parts of the speech.
Last summer, I went to the United States in Miami to visit my uncle because he's been living there for 10 years, and he married an American woman, and
so that was the extra information. She talked about that time when she visited the U.S. Why did she visit the U.S.? Because she was visiting her uncle, that was a U.S. citizen and married to an American woman. So that extra information can help you extend your speaking time. Yeah. But again, remember, make sure you extend only if you know if you have enough time. Yeah. All right, now. So now that we have seen some examples, it's time for us to learn how to organize ideas. So again, how many minutes do we have to organize our ideas? How many minutes do we have to prepare?
1 minute.
1 minute only.
2 minutes.
In 1 minute. 2 minutes the speaking time. Yeah. So in that 1 minute, we have to organize our idea. We have to write down a lot of things. Yeah, we have to organize our ideas and write down a lot of things. Now, how do we do that? Well, we do that by taking notes. You're given a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, and these will help you to take notes. How do you take notes? What should you write? Well, start by thinking about the topic, and then write down your ideas. And then once you are done writing your ideas, keep going until your time is up. However, how do we organize our ideas? Well, generally there are two ways people use in order to organize their ideas. Do you know what are those ways? Whenever you have to take notes about something, how do you organize your ideas in real life? Do you guys organize your ideas, or you just write down as you go? Any ideas? No? Okay. Well, whenever we take notes and we need to organize our ideas, generally two things that we can do is these two. I'm going to talk about the bottom one first. Yeah, the bottom one is called the mind map. This is a mind map, the mind map way. So you start with the mind map way is easy to organize your ideas, and you can just write it down like this. Start with the answer to the topic. Yeah, start with the answer to the topic first. Describe a person who has been a very important influence in your life. My grandmother. How long? Known here all my life. Why? Looked after me when my young parents working. What influence does she have? Calm. Taught me to read, write, work hard about my culture. Feelings, love, respect, admiration, and sometimes worry. So this is a basic mind map of the answer. This is how you organize your ideas. So start with the main topic. Yeah, start with the main topic. Who is the person? And then go around with question 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, from this, you can expand more from this. So let's say, how long have you known her? All my life. Why? Looked after me when young parents working. And then in here, you can talk about what were your parents working. For example, mother is a full-time businesswoman, and father is a full-time businessman as well, although they are working in a different company. Yeah. So extra information like this, it's useful. Now, the easier way is this. This is the easier way. So you just write down all the answers to the question. So question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. For example, who and how long? Older brother, 30 years old, a lawyer, lives in America, not see often, know him all my life. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Or this is the way I prefer it. Yeah. The way I do it is the same with candidate 1, and instead I write it downwards. For example, like this. What is person? For example, my mother. Who is this person? Well, my mother. Big influence in my life. Wait, maybe I should make a small font. Always there for me. Motivates me. Known all my life. So the information may be just all there, but it's up to you to organize it when you start speaking. So you need to know which one you want to speak first. Okay. And then what else? Why you chose this person, how this person has influenced you, and so on. Now, because we only have 1 minute to take notes, the best way, my best tip for you when taking notes is make sure Just shorten everything you write. Okay. For example, instead of writing big influence in my life, just write big influence. Influence all my life. All life instead. What else? Motivation, always there, and so on. Your notes should be short, but make sure you understand what you are writing. Okay, you can even use symbols as well. For example, if something goes up, you can write an arrow. Something goes down, arrow. Bigger, smaller, equal, and so on. Use symbols to help you write as much information as you can. Okay. So yeah, something like that. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at answer based on this note. Yeah, based on the note of candidate 1. Let's see. Describe a person. Describe a person who has been important influence in your life. Who this person is, why, how, and explain how it's okay. So maybe it goes something like this. Okay. The person with the biggest influence in my life is my older brother, who is currently 36 years old. That's around a 6-year-old gap with me. My older brother has been an established lawyer who lives in America for almost 10 years now. Even though I haven't seen him for a very long time, however, we still keep in contact with each other because I often ask him how he's doing, and so does he. Overall, I've known him my entire life. There has been not a single moment in my life that I have forgotten about him. And the reason I chose him as the person that has the most influence in my life is because of my childhood. When I was young, I had a lot of problems at school, some such as learning difficulties. I also did not have much friends at school. But my brother keeps on motivating me. He told me about his dream to become a lawyer, and that got me motivated to become someone like him. Over the course of his life, he has failed a lot of times, such as in university, where he almost gave up on studying law, when he was rejected as he finally finishes university. But at the end, he finally succeeded in achieving his dream. And the influence that he has on my life is blah, 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 and so on. Yeah. So that was an example of how to answer based on this note. However, as you see, this note is very long, so I recommend not to write something this long. For example, brother, you don't exactly have to write older brother. You know it's older brother, just write brother. 36 years. Or just write 36 years. A lawyer in America. All my life. Young. Okay, sorry. Had problems at school. Be a lawyer. Fail many times. Keep going. And so on. Just make sure you understand your notes, okay? Whenever you take notes, everybody, the most important thing is for you to understand the notes that you're taking. Okay? Okay, speaking of notes, which one do you guys prefer? Perhaps from I, which one of these two do you prefer? The number 1 or number 2? Or do you have your own note-taking way?
Number 1.
You prefer number 1, okay?
Yes.
Misra, how about you? Which one do you prefer, 1 or 2?
What would choose?
Yeah. Which one do you prefer? One or two?
One or two.
The one you prefer to use.
I have prefer in 1, 2.
Huh? You prefer
One. I
One.
prefer in 1, 2.
One. Oh, you
and
prefer number
also.
1 too. Okay. All right. How about Ika? Which one do you prefer? Number 1 or number 2?
I prefer number 2.
Number 2, yeah. Mind maps. Okay. Wait, did somebody disconnected? No. Oh wait, somebody did disconnect. Dika, which one do you prefer?
I will prefer to choose number 2.
Number 2, yeah. Okay, I see. And Gustavo, which one do you prefer? Number 1 or 2? Number 1, yeah. Okay. So yes, number 1 is much more simple, but number 2 is much more organized. However, number 2 does take more time. But hey, go with whichever one you are comfortable with. It's your notes anyway. The one is gonna see it. The examiner is not gonna take a look at your notes anyway. Once you're done with this, you will submit everything to the examiner, and it'll probably go to the freshman because, like, you're done. So don't worry, nobody's going to take a look at your notes. It's all for your use. That one, because that's how a speaking test goes. So for now, you may review the. Before practice, any questions? Any question? Anybody want to ask anything?
How about we write down the questions while the examiner asks the question to us. How about that?
You cannot
Is it possible?
because they haven't give you the booklet yet.
Oh, the book.
Yeah, because the question is in the booklet. So you will have to wait until the examiner gives you the booklet before you can start answering. Yeah. And then after they give you the booklet, they're going to give you a paper, and then they tell you that you have 1 minute, and then the 1 minute starts. It's a very tight amount of time. Yeah. Give me a second. Okay. Any other question? No? Okay. If you don't have any question, you may do a quick review first while I set up the practice. So here's the look. So here's the link to the chat. Here's the link to the material, to the PowerPoint. Just open it and you may do a quick review if you need to. Yeah. Now I'm going to move you all to the breakout rooms. And yeah. Okay. So, and then I'm going to ask one of you to move, one by one. Okay. So yeah. Open all rooms. Okay, feel free to move to the room, and then I'm going to pull you one by one out. Okay?